Mother said we had nothing. I believed her. The empty fridge, the bills stacked on the counter, the way she sighed when I asked for lunch money, it all matched her story. But one night while searching for my missing notebook, I found something else. A shoebox under her bed. I pulled it out, heart racing. Inside were envelopes. Dozens of them. Thick with cash. My hands shook as I counted. It was more money than I had ever seen in my life. Enough to pay for groceries, school trips, even the electricity that kept getting shut off. I heard her footsteps in the hall. I tried to shove the box back, but she walked in. Her face went white, then hard as stone. "What are you doing?" she snapped. I stammered. "Why do you keep this here?" "You told us we were broke." Her hand slammed the door shut behind her. "Don't ask again," she hissed. Her eyes burned into me, darker than I'd ever seen. For the first time I realized something terrible. We weren't poor. We were prisoners in her lie. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those envelopes stuffed with cash, the way Mom's hand trembled when she slammed the door, the fury in her voice when she told me not to ask again. All my life she'd repeated the same story. We have nothing. When I asked why we couldn't afford field trips, she'd say, "Money doesn't grow on trees." When my shoes wore holes in the soles, she'd say, "Be grateful your feet still work." And when I begged for a birthday cake, she'd shake her head, whispering about sacrifices and bills. But sacrifices for who? At breakfast I studied her. She moved around the kitchen as if nothing had happened. She poured cereal into chipped bowls, humming under her breath. Dad had been gone for years, my sister never asked questions, and I had always accepted her word as law. But now I couldn't unsee the box. I asked softly, "Mom, why do you keep that money?" Her spoon froze midair. She turned her head slowly, eyes sharp as knives. "Didn't I tell you not to ask again?" "But..." She slammed the spoon into the bowl so hard milk splashed across the table. "Enough." Her voice wasn't tired like usual. It was fierce, cold, and final. My chest tightened, but something inside me hardened. At school I couldn't focus. My friends talked about new clothes, after-school jobs, vacations. I thought about the box. About how many nights I'd gone to bed hungry while Money slept comfortably under her bed. That afternoon I searched again. She had moved the box, but not well. It was inside her closet now, under old blankets. I opened one envelope and saw fresh bills, crisp and clean. They smelled of ink and paper, not like something hidden for emergencies. When she came home, I confronted her again. "You're lying to us. We're not broke." Her face twisted, equal parts rage and fear. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Then explain it." My voice cracked. "We've been freezing in winter while you keep piles of money hidden." "Why?" She grabbed my shoulders, fingers digging into my skin. "Because it's not for you. It's not for us. It's mine. Do you hear me? Mine." Her words cut deeper than her nails. Mine. Not ours. Not family. Just hers. I pulled away, breath shaking. "You let me starve while you fed envelopes?" Her face went pale, but she didn't answer. That night I told my sister. She laughed bitterly. "You think I didn't know? I saw the envelopes years ago." She told me if I ever opened my mouth she'd throw me out. "You were too scared to notice." My stomach dropped. "So all this time, she's been hoarding," my sister whispered. "I don't know why. Maybe it makes her feel powerful. Maybe she just wants control." The air in the room felt heavy, suffocating. My entire childhood replayed in my mind, every no, every slammed door, every night of shame for not having what others had. It wasn't poverty. It was manipulation. The next morning I tried to act normal. But Mom's eyes followed me, suspicious, as if she knew I was unraveling her lie. She gripped her coffee mug tight, sipping slowly, her gaze burning holes in my face. "You'll forget what you saw," she said flatly. But I couldn't forget. I wouldn't. Because once you see the truth, you can't go back to living in the dark. And I realized something. If I kept quiet, she'd keep ruling us with her lies forever. Something inside me broke that day. Or maybe it finally woke up. I wasn't going to let her hoard her secrets, or her money without consequences. The house turned into a cage after that. Every word Mom spoke felt like a command, every glance a warning. She started locking her bedroom door at night, even when she was inside. I could hear the faint rustle of envelopes being counted, the shuffle of cash in her hands, like some twisted lullaby she played only for herself. Meals grew smaller. 2 slices of bread shared between 3 of us. Cold water instead of milk. She told us money was tight again, her voice dripping with fake exhaustion. I wanted to scream, "You're lying." But my sister's eyes always stopped me wide, terrified, begging me to stay silent. One evening I couldn't take it. I asked her directly, "Why are you doing this to us? We're your children." Her face hardened. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just whispered, "Because you'll never understand what it takes to survive." Her words left me shaking. Survival? What survival? We weren't starving because of bad luck, we were starving because of her choices. Days passed and the tension grew heavier. My sister started hiding snacks at school, eating before coming home, afraid Mom would catch her with food. I caught her one night slipping crackers into her pillowcase. "It's the only way I don't go to bed hungry," she whispered. That night I made a decision. I was going to find out exactly how much money Mom was hiding, and what she was planning to do with it. When she went grocery shopping the next morning, I broke into her room. The lock was simple. A pin and steady hands opened it. The shoebox wasn't there anymore, but I found a suitcase under the bed. I dragged it out, heart hammering. Inside were not just envelopes but stacks, thick rubber-banded piles of cash. Some were marked with dates in her handwriting. 2018, 2019, 2020. It went back years. She had been hoarding this money while we begged for second-hand shoes, while she told us the heating bill couldn't be paid, while she made us feel like burdens. I nearly dropped the suitcase when I saw the bottom. Receipts. Plane tickets. Brochures for resorts. Pictures cut out from magazines, beaches, hotels, spas. The truth hit me like a punch. She wasn't saving for emergencies. She wasn't protecting us. She was building a life for herself, one without us in it. I heard the front door slam. My hands scrambled, shoving the suitcase back under the bed, locking the door behind me as I ran to my room. My chest was pounding when she walked down the hall. She stopped at my door. "What were you doing?" My throat tightened. "Homework." Her eyes lingered on me too long, like she could see through my skin. Finally she turned away, but her footsteps echoed heavier than ever. That night, I whispered the truth to my sister. She broke down, her hands covering her face. So she really never cared about us. It was always about her. Her words sank deep. Always about her. The days that followed were unbearable. Mom started acting stranger. She counted the money more often. She slept with the door locked and the key hidden. She even stopped answering questions about bills, snapping, "It's none of your concern." But the worst was her smile. I caught it once when she thought no one was watching, soft, greedy, almost blissful as she stroked the stacks of bills. It wasn't the smile of a mother. It was the smile of someone who had already left us in her heart. That was the breaking point. I realized we weren't her family. We were her cover, the excuse for her lies. She let us suffer so she could feed her fantasy. And I decided in that moment that I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Not anymore. The night it all came crashing down didn't look special at first. The house was quiet, the lights dim. My sister sat in the living room wrapped in a blanket, staring at the TV that barely worked. Mom was in her bedroom, the door locked again, shuffling papers and money. I sat at the table with my fists clenched, heart pounding like it was trying to break out of my chest. I couldn't take it anymore. I stood, walked to her door and knocked hard. "What?" she barked from inside. "Open it," I said. My voice was steady though my insides twisted. Silence. Then the click of the lock. She opened the door just enough to glare at me. Her eyes were sharp, but I pushed past her before she could stop me. The suitcase was on the bed. Open. Stacks of money, envelopes spilling out, receipts, and a fresh passport lying on top. I froze. She lunged forward trying to slam it shut, but I grabbed it first. What is this? I shouted. Tell me. Her face twisted, veins rising in her neck. It's my way out, she spat. Do you think I'm going to rot in this house forever? Do you think I owe you every penny I make? You children take and take. I saved this for me. The words echoed like glass shattering. My throat went dry. We starved. We wore rags. We begged. And you let us. Her hand shook, but she didn't soften. She stepped closer, pointing a finger at me. Do you know what it's like to give up your dreams? To throw away your life because of kids you never wanted? That money is the only thing that's mine. The only thing that proves I'm still alive. Behind me I heard a gasp. My sister stood in the doorway, pale and trembling. You never wanted us? She whispered. Mom's eyes darted to her, then back to me. She hesitated, but only for a second. No, she said coldly. I wanted freedom. And this is it. She grabbed a handful of bills, clutching them like they were more precious than us. The silence broke inside me. Years of hunger, humiliation, and lies flooded to the surface. Then go, I said, my voice shaking but loud. If the money means more than we do, leave. Her mouth opened, ready to spit fire, but I stepped forward and tore the suitcase off the bed. The envelopes spilled onto the floor, bills scattering like leaves in the wind. My sister knelt, picking them up, staring at the numbers. This could have paid for food. For clothes. For school, she said, her voice cracking. Tears streamed down her face. Mom's voice rose into a scream. Put it back. That's mine. She tried to snatch the money from my sister's hands, but I blocked her, pushing her back. For the first time in my life she stumbled, not me. She glared at me, breathing hard. You'll regret this. You'll regret ever crossing me. No, I said quietly. I regret believing you. The words hit harder than my shove. She froze, her face slack for a moment, then twisted into something I can only describe as broken rage. She grabbed her passport and one thick stack of cash, clutching them against her chest like armor. Fine, she hissed. If you think you can live without me, then do it. I won't waste another second on ungrateful children. And just like that she stormed out. The door slammed. The silence she left behind was louder than her screaming had ever been. My sister and I sat on the floor, surrounded by envelopes, shaking. We didn't speak for a long time. The money felt dirty in our hands, poisoned by everything it had cost us. But it was also proof. Proof that we hadn't been crazy. Proof that our suffering had been a choice she made. I looked at my sister. We'll use this for us. For food. For school. For life. Her face was wet with tears, but she nodded. For the first time, her eyes carried something more than fear. They carried relief. That night, the house was quiet in a different way. Empty, yes, but also lighter. We weren't living under her lie anymore. We weren't begging for scraps while she built a life for herself in secret. She had chosen her money. We had chosen each other. And though the wound she left will never fully heal, I finally understood something she never did. Family isn't measured in what you hoard. It's measured in what you give. I stared at the scattered bills one last time before turning off the light. For once I didn't feel like a prisoner in my own home. I felt free.